We're here today in the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore along the coast of Lake Michigan.
Today we'd like to show you some of the cool things about the Sleeping Bear Dunes in this ecosode.
This area is home to many ecosystems, including northern hardwood conifer forests, farms, meadows, wetlands, lakes, streams, bogs, and of course the towering bluffs of sand known as the dunes.
It's because of the beauty and diversity of the Sleeping Bear Dunes area that it became part of the National Park System.
The area is one of the most recent additions to the National Park Service as it was created in October of 1970.
Being a part of the National Lakeshore protected about 35 miles of dunes and bluffs along the Lake Michigan coast from being developed.
It also protected islands off the coast such as North and South Manitou from development.
Each year, the untouched dunes bring in thousands of tourists wanting to enjoy the natural beauty.
In 2011, Good Morning America voted the Sleeping Bear Dunes the most beautiful place in America.
That's pretty cool.
Following being named the most beautiful place in America, tourism doubled, and as each person made their way into the National Lakeshore, they were greeted with the stories of how the dunes formed.
The legend says that long ago, during a raging forest fire in Wisconsin, a mother bear and her two cubs were driven out of their home.
They were driven into Lake Michigan, and the only way they could escape the fire was to swim across the lake to the Michigan shoreline.
Many hours later, the mother bear reached the shoreline, but the cubs were nowhere to be seen. So she decided to lay on the shore and rest.
She fell asleep on the shore awaiting their arrival, but sadly the cubs drowned just a few miles off the coast from where their mother was.
The legend finishes saying that the mother formed what is now known as the Sleeping Bear Dunes, and her cubs formed North and South Manitou Islands.
This is the story that residents and tourists alike are told about why and how the dunes formed. However, there is also a more scientific reason.
Glaciers. When the glaciers moved through the Midwest, they deposited huge Precambrian rocks and boulders throughout the entire area. When they receded, they also dropped the soil, silt, and sand that you see here. In total, the huge glaciers covered half the North American continent, including Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, and Illinois. Now go.
When the last glacial ice melted between 10 and 14,000 years ago, it left behind the Great Lakes as well as many other smaller lakes around the area. This is Lake Michigan.
Signs exactly like these have been put up in the Glen Lake area, informing people of the natural beauty and history of the Sleeping Bear Dunes.
As tourism grows in the area, trails like the Sleeping Bear Heritage Trail have been established so that people can more easily get out and enjoy cool things in nature.